Hi, it's Davy Mooney coming to you from the University of North Texas, where I run the jazz guitar program. I'm a Benedetto artist, Sunnyside Records artist, got my Sunnyside CDs, and there's a new one on the way, y'all. It's recorded a couple weeks ago down in Brazil with the Cats, and turned out really good. Also, my brand new book from Mel Bay, Into the Labyrinth, An Anatomy of Position Playing for Jazz Guitar. Check it out. Describes my journey towards fretboard fluency, and my other book is Personalizing Jazz Vocabulary. So yeah, I wanted to talk today about, is it my favorite Wayne Shorter song? Could be. Dance Cadaverous. Really beautiful waltz from Speak No Evil, record from the mid-60s with Herbie Hancock and Freddie Hubbard, Elvin Jones, Ron Carter, Wayne Shorter himself. And yeah, this tune has a vibe. There are vibes and vibes, and this one has a vibe. It's very harmonically sophisticated, very mysterious, right? Kind of like spooky. And there's that version. I don't know that many other versions, honestly. There's a nice one. There's a Rich Perry record where he plays it, but it's not as commonly played that I know of anyway. There might be some versions out there that I'm not familiar with, so I'll mostly talk about the Speak No Evil version. And there's always those mystery chords, right? The Herbie Hancock mystery chords, and different treatments of chords, like where you get the sense that I don't know what they were looking at in the studio in terms of the lead sheet or how it was written out, but he does different things, like there'll be a repeat and you think it's the same chord, and it is the same chord, but he'll treat it a little differently, and I'll try to talk about some of that. But anyway, let's dive right in. There's a nice, really cool intro, like on an A flat chord where the horns go nice, like what is that, a perfect fifth, and then a second, and then an A7 chord, and it goes, and then like an A7 altered. Little intro is kind of cool, like A flat major for 4 bars, then A7 for 2 bars, and then A7 altered, kind of flat 9, flat 5. And then the melody, B minor major 7 chord. To a C minor major 7 chord. So really interesting right off the bat, those two. So you don't really know what key you're in. Like we started with an A flat chord, and then we kind of, are we in B minor? And then we're like, okay, we kind of are in B minor, because then you have a C sharp minor 7 flat 5, F sharp 7. So again, you get that B, then it repeats B minor major 7, up a half step, C minor major 7, C sharp minor 7 flat 5 again to F sharp. So right off the bat, it's really interesting. That's sort of the first section. You have the B minor and then up a half step. Real chromatic harmony in minor major 7 chords. So it's got a sort of augmented, maybe melodic minor, but that chord could also be in harmonic minor, right? B harmonic minor. And Herbie actually he does this little trill, or the melodies on the major 7. He trills from the 5th to like the sharp 5 on each of those minor major 7 chords. So then you're like, oh man, should I play? Does that mean that it's a harmonic minor sound? Or, gosh, there's probably some other scales. There are some other scales that have those combination of intervals. But anyway, moving on for the tune. So yeah, B minor major 7, C minor major 7, C sharp minor 7, flat 5, F sharp 7. That repeats. B minor major 7, C minor major 7, C sharp minor 7 flat 5, F sharp 7, and then a quick little B7. It's hard to tell what measure it's supposed to come in on, but I think it's on the fourth measure of that phrase right there. And then the next section, sort of the B section of the tune, you have a G major 7 to C dominant 7. And then I love this melody here. He goes, so it's a C7 chord, and it's this little chromatic melody where it's kind of, the notes are G, G flat, and A flat, but he displaces by an octave the A flat. So the melody, if they were all in the same octave, it would have been this. But he goes, woo, so cool. And I think that note right on a tenor saxophone isn't really on the horn, so he does one of those what do you call it, subtone things, like he must turn the horn to the side, because on the record it really jumps out that note, you know. Anyway, and this is one of those mystery chords, right? So this B section, you got two bars of G major 7, C7 for 2 bars, 1 more bar of C7, and then you hear this crazy chord that Herbie plays, and I'm pretty sure it's this thing, y'all. It's that A flat major 7 sharp 5 that also has the natural 5th in it. I think pretty similar to the chord that he plays towards the end of Dolphin Dance, and this sort of structure at the top. I mean, he's a pianist, so he might have some other note in there, but that's as close as I can get to it on guitar. So like, then to an A flat minor 11. So that's an interesting sequence of chords in that B section. So 2 bars of G major 7, 2 bars of C7, 1 more bar of C7, this A flat major 7 sharp 5 for 1 bar, and then A flat minor 11. And then it goes on F minor 7 flat 5, but F minor 9 flat 5. So it's kind of that minor major 7 sound again, kind of like an A flat minor major 7 with F in the bass. B flat 7 altered, sharp 5, B flat minor 11, and then 2-5 back to B minor. So that's like the first half of the song, and man, a lot of interesting colors, right? Kind of, and you know, the name of the song is Dance Cadaverous, and you read the liner notes, he's like imagining like dead bodies dancing. So it's a trippy tune, y'all. And then so the second half of the song, you get B minor major 7 again, to C minor major 7, same thing, C sharp minor 7 flat 5, F sharp 7, and then there's like a, what do you call it, like a coda, or it changes a little bit. Here he goes, another section, D major 7 sharp 5 to D7 sus, kind of like a 2-5 or a 5-1, and then to G. I think the melodies on F sharp, Herbie, I think, plays a G major 7 sharp 5 there, and there's this little walk down, F sharp, E minor over D, C sharp. Then this is kind of like the B section a little bit. So C sharp minor 7 flat 5 to C7. Then this same thing again. The C7 to the A flat major 7 sharp 5 to the A flat minor 11. I hope I'm saying these chords right. Sometimes I listen back to what I'm saying on these videos and I'll leave out like a flat or a sharp, because so many of the chords are like flat this, sharp that, but I think I got it right. So A flat minor 11, and then the last little bit of the tune, you got a G7 dominant, like a G13, C sharp minor 7 flat 5 again, and then the last chord you got 4 bars of a C major 9. They solo. They don't do the intro. They solo over the form, and the form is pretty regular. You know, it's like an A B A prime C form. I think each one is 16 bars if you're thinking of it in 3/4. And you know, the A and the A prime are pretty close. The B and the C are fairly close, and it's just the harmonic treatment is so interesting and so complex and so rich and kind of mysterious. And you know, the name of the tune is Dance Cadaverous. It's dancing corpses, I think, is what they're talking about on the liner notes. And yeah, it's something. And you know, in terms of improvising on it, you know, I took a couple choruses. I did it at a little quicker tempo than what they do on the record. On the record, Herbie takes a chorus, Wayne takes a chorus, and then they take it out, I believe. And it's so interesting because, you know, I see a B minor major 7 and I'm thinking, okay, the first thing that occurs to me is to play, you know, B melodic minor. I like that sound. And could be harmonic minor, but I don't know. Harmonic minor doesn't seem, even though Herbie does that on the head, you know. Melodic minor seems, maybe that's just my jazz education training. I believe on the Rich Perry record, I was hearing them play like melodic minor on it. I mean, there's no reason to avoid that if that's just because, you know, it's not, we don't want to sound like we all went to jazz school, which we all did, you know, pretty much. I imagine most people watching this video did anyway. And then, you know, the C minor major 7, I'm thinking just 2 melodic minor scales, although, of course, on the Herbie solo, at the beginning he plays some kind of chordal things, but on the second half, when the B minor major 7 to C minor major 7 thing recur, he plays this really interesting little quintuplet idea on the B minor, and then on the C, and then he goes into another line after that. So that's interesting. Okay, there's 5 notes, and 4 of them are right in the arpeggio, and then there's also this F natural. So I almost think it's maybe an augmented scale idea. You know, hexatonic. And that's a sound I use sometimes. Right, so like on a B minor you could go, you're basically playing a D augmented triad, and then the note's a half step below that. He doesn't play all those notes, but that's an interesting. And then on the C minor, you're playing an E flat augmented triad, and the note's a half step below that. So that's another thing you can play. You just play off the notes of the chord, right? It doesn't all have to be conceptualized as a scale. And then, you know, you got a 2-5, and after those first 2 chords, it's a 2-5 in B minor, which is pretty standard. You could play it. That'd be a good place to play harmonic minor if you want to get some harmonic minor in there. At 2-5 in B minor, B harmonic minor works great. You could make the C sharp minor 7 flat 5 have a natural 9. That could be another melodic minor application. E melodic minor to G melodic minor if you really want to melodic minor it out. I think they're beautiful sounds, y'all. Melodic minor modes. I'm all in on them still, in spite of everything. And then, okay, we got that quick B7 going to G. You think like, hey, what's B7? 5 of E minor maybe, but you know, E minor and G are pretty close, so you get away with like, you could resolve it the same way. G major to C7. The C7 could have like definitely be a sharp 11. That's in the melody. And what do we do about that A flat major 7 sharp 5 chord in there before the A flat minor 11? Well, I don't know. In a certain sense, it could kind of still be C7. You're just putting an A flat into it. You're just putting a little more hair on your C7, you know. And if you think about it, that structure right there could also be like a C half whole diminished kind of sound, right? I mean, the note A flat, the bass note isn't in the C half whole diminished scale, but again, you know, we're not. A lot of this stuff is, I think, it's just colors, right? Adding dissonances, and you listen to Herbie's piano performance on this. It's just like so masterful. Just in terms of tone color and harmonic stuff, brilliance. So, you know, you could just play, it's still a C7. If you just kept playing C7 and maybe played, I mean, you don't have to think just because there's one measure of A flat major 7 sharp 5 that you have to drop everything and treat that chord. It goes by so fast anyway. But then, you know, A flat minor 11, it's kind of a Dorian sound, you know, some kind of, you don't want to ignore that chord, I don't think, because then right after it you have F minor 7 flat 5, F minor 9 with the flat 5. Again, that could be a melodic minor sound, nothing wrong with that. If if you're crazy about those hexatonic, augmented scales, there's a place to apply those on a lot of these chords, like on an F minor 9, flat 5, like a B augmented. Then it goes to a B flat 7 altered. You could play then to a B flat augmented. But when I play the Wayne tune Iris, I think about augmented triads a lot. You can watch my video on Iris if you're interested in that. And then B flat minor 11, again, kind of more of a Dorian sound. And this tune, the other thing I like about it, I like everything about it, but occasionally it'll go into some kind of more like bluesy harmony mixed in with all this sort of impressionistic Ravellian stuff. And man, I love that. You almost think like, what if Art Blakey's band had played this with Wayne? It still would have worked, Lee Morgan and Wayne. Anyway, so where were we? So yeah, B flat minor 11, then a 2/5 back to B minor. And the second half of the tune, it starts the same, C minor, and then instead of going back to B minor again, it's D major 7 sharp 5, which is actually the same chord, right? It's just an inversion of B minor major 7. So it's kind of like you went to B minor major 7 again, but then instead of C minor major 7, it goes to D sus to G major, and then does a resolution, 5-1 to G major, although Herbie puts that sharp 5 on it. When I'm improvising, I just treat it like a G major most of the time. And then we have a real like kind of consonant walk down to E minor, then over D, then the C section is kind of like the B section, but instead of the first chord being G major, it's C sharp minor 7 flat 5. Then you have the C7. Is that right? Yeah. With the A flat major 7 sharp 5 again. And then the last little bit, you get this G7. That just makes it for me that he's got those two bars of a G dominant, kind of just straight up Mixolydian. Then C sharp minor 7 flat 5 again, and C major 7. C Lydian kind of. And back to the top. So man, brilliant song, mysterious, so subtle, so like Herbie. There's so much cool like 1960s Herbie stuff in this track. And the Wayne solo is great too. I haven't actually analyzed everything that he does in there, but there's some cool ideas going on. So I want to play a couple choruses on this thing, a little quicker tempo than they do it at, and explore some of these ideas. And I hope you dig it.